Is everyone back with me? Everything going okay? So to sum up the beginning story is basically this dude's father, I guess, is going to write him out of the will, so he plans to take her out of the picture. So he's returning home. He's going to disinherit him from the will. They don't get along, and she's kind of a recluse, from what I understand anyway. Seven hells, George. I think it was because he was on the train. Those special effects. Homecoming. Converse with your relatives and search the house for useful objects. Objects are divided into two categories, items of evidence and weapons. You will only be allowed to pick up two objects from around the house before dinner commences, so choose wisely. After dinner, you will have the chance to plant an item of evidence if you wish, and then commit the murder. There are many ways to do the deed, but only the cunning will succeed. Good evening, Mr. Aaron. May I take your coat? Of course. You're new, aren't you? Sophia is my name. I recognize you from your pictures, Mr. Aaron. I'm not new exactly. I've been employed by your family for almost a year. It's just that you have never visited before. My work keeps me very busy, unfortunately. I understand. I've been away from my family a lot since I started this job. We're here now, and I'm sure that you are eager to meet with the others. Your father is in the library on your left, and your mother is in the parlor, which is on your right. Your sister is upstairs in her room, I think. Where can I find you, Bertie? Valentine's Day. I'll be in the kitchen preparing dinner. I'll sound the bell when dinner is served. It's kept the house populated with many plants. Is it freezing again? Nah, it isn't made. Another one of your mother's blasted plants. Your parents' room has not changed in years. It remains a frozen time capsule of a childhood you would sooner forget. Go through the wardrobe, find nothing apart from clothes and your mother's excessive collection of jewelry. It's only once you slide the top drawer open that you remember this is where your father keeps his shotgun. Shiny Barrel almost seems to call out to you. Guns are certainly noisy, but efficient weapons. I'll leave that where it is for now. George said you wanted to see me, Mother. Yes. Your sister will not be returning to St. Mary's this year, Aaron. Her condition has become too serious. I see. Have you nothing to say besides that, Aaron? No, nothing. This is precisely what I wanted to talk to you about. This silly feud with your sister must stop. Why do you think her condition keeps getting worse? Perhaps it's because you refuse to even acknowledge her. She killed Henry. For heaven's sake, Aaron, it was only a rat. It was my friend. I should never have allowed you to keep it in the first place. If you must blame someone, blame me. Will you forgive your sister? Never. Very well, Aaron. You leave me no choice. I will have to speak to your father about this. This house always brings back far too many memories. So it's... Oops. How are you free? So Kinji and Shiara are both frozen again? You enter the surreal atmosphere of your sister's room. Mirrors of various sizes cover the walls, creating the eerie illusion of a crowded space. Aha! I thought I spotted a rat. Have you come to see me, little rat? Not a rat, I'm your brother. Takes a rat to smell a rat. How are you feeling? Hello, Jennifer. How have you been? What an odd thing for a rat to ask. Normally they just say squeak, squeak. You used to have a pet rat, didn't you? Remember what I did to him? Oh, how he squeaked. Such great pain for such a little creature. What did you want to talk to me about, little rat? I see you're still collecting mirrors. I have 73 of them now. Can you use all of them at once? Of course not. What a silly question. Are you making fun of my mirrors, little rat? You better not be. Go away. I don't want to speak to you anymore. That's the plan. It's sort of like a mirror, or a murder investigation in reverse. Oh no. Go away, little rat. Jennifer, what are you doing? Why do you stare at your reflection like that? Stop making fun of me. I'm not making fun. I really want to know. I just wish that. What, Jennifer? What do you wish? I wish that you'd go drown in a lake. Jeez. Mother's waiting for you. I'm not in this family. My sister's obsession with mirrors goes right back to her childhood. I never did understand why. You step inside your former bedroom, now a simple guest room. Most of your old furniture has vanished, probably thrown on a bonfire knowing your father. Your old fencing sword. Maybe a weapon that they don't know we use. So we found 2 weapons so far. We need to find a weapon and some evidence. Yeah, it's just 2 items, they say, but we could take... I don't know if I want to take my sister's undergarments. Let's consider that a plan B. This old stone fireplace has nothing to interest you. Walking into the pantry, you begin to salivate at the promising scent of roast beef coming from the kitchen beyond. You find nothing of interest in the drawers. On the top cabinet, however, you see a blue box marked rat poison. I could take the rat poison. So far, that seems the best option for a weapon. It says 2 items, but I think the best approach would be a weapon and evidence. Who's this? I see you made it, Aaron. Forgive me if I don't stand. Your mere presence has almost given me a heart attack. Hello, Mother. Please sit down if you want to talk properly, Aaron. I don't want you to crane my neck looking up at you. Glance over your shoulder to make sure your mother isn't looking. The red book on the desk says diary on the front. I don't know if there's any evidence in the diary that would be useful. You don't need to make any phone calls right now. The most beloved of all your mother's possessions, her rusty old gramophone, used to play all of her favorite records. This is the groundskeeper's cupboard. George seems to have left it open. Among the various household tools, you spot a thick length of rope. Strangulation is certainly a tried and tested method of murder. The dusty old wine cellar is where your father likes to practice billiards. The laundry room is next door, and beyond that, the servants' quarters. All is vanity. A generation goes and a generation comes, but the earth remains forever. Billiards cue belonging to your father lies across the table. This could certainly serve as an unorthodox murder weapon. Maid has left a wooden broom leaning against the wall. Broken in two, it might be a useful weapon. Finding a lot of weapons, but not as much evidence. What's this? What's this? A broken mirror. Sits upon the maid's desk. Odds are that it belongs to your sister, and the maid has been hiding it here after accidentally breaking it. A shard of glass from the mirror would be a poetic murder weapon. Oh, I was thinking maybe it would be good evidence. If we wanted to, I don't know if we have a choice about who we frame. If we wanted to frame like the maid. Oh, whoops. Oh, hello, sir. What can I do for you? You seem quite distressed about something. I do? Well, I'm sure it's nothing you should trouble yourself with, sir. Come now, George. We've known each other many years. If something is troubling you, I want to hear about it. If you insist, sir. Ever since the new maid arrived, I feel like I'm being nudged towards early retirement. She is obviously being trained to become the new housekeeper. She's taking over my responsibilities one by one. I've tried discussing the matter with your mother, but it's no use. She hasn't been herself lately either. But please, don't trouble yourself about it, sir. I probably shouldn't have said anything at all. New maid is quite domineering, then. She didn't seem that way to me. She is subtle in her ways, but mark my words, she wants to be running this house. Perhaps it's not a coincidence that your sister's mental health has become worse since Sophia arrived. I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary yet, but I have my suspicions. She is as cold and heartless a woman as I've ever known. I should say no more. Please excuse me, sir. What would I frame the maid with? Yeah, can I use it for both evidence and a weapon? I'd be up for that. An assortment of family records and heirlooms are contained within this ornate glass cabinet. I don't know. Of course you do. Use that head for once, boy. Great Uncle Thomas? What initials do you see on that silverware? CB. And what kind of halfwit spells Thomas with a C? I don't know. Well, I do. It's the kind of halfwit that's standing next to me. Now, which of your ancestors owned that silver chalice? If you get this one wrong, there will be serious consequences, boy. I'll say one thing for my father. His style of parenting has always been consistent. You manage to force open the locked drawer of the writing desk. Inside you find pages of poetry penned in your sister's handwriting. They seem to be love letters penned to an unidentified female. From the descriptions, you would guess it's the new maid. Interesting. That's, the plot thickens. You have no reason to interfere with the saucepans and crockery. It seems the maid has left a sharp kitchen knife unattended. How foolish of her. I know we could use the bread. I don't think you'll be needing any bread. Wow, was this game made by Shiar? Please don't touch that. Oh, hello, Master Aaron. Is there something I can do for you? Oh, I'm sure you can do lots of things for me, lovely. You can pucker up those pretty lips and give me a kiss. Mr. Aaron, please, that is highly inappropriate. Pretend like you don't enjoy the attention. You must stop this improper behavior at once, otherwise I will be forced to call someone. I'm sorry, I must get back to work now. We'll ring the bell when it is ready. See you, Fames. I don't know, I was trying to test her. She didn't seem like a... Ah. Where haven't we been? So what do you guys think? Maybe get the mirror and the poetry, the love poems to the maid. I'm thinking that's our best bit so far. Take one of the poems. You take the most intimate and lovelorn poem you can find and hide it on your person. If planted in the right location, this could raise interesting questions about the maid's relationship with your sister. Alright, the question is, for the weapon, should we use the mirror shards, or should the glass, or should we use... yeah, I'm thinking that's what we should use. And the other option is, I guess, the kitchen knife or something like that she would have. I don't have a murder weapon right now. So far, I just looked at everything without taking anything. I'm thinking the maid's going to be the best person to frame. I don't know if I have a way to... I've not found any evidence that would point to the groundskeeper. The only thing that would point to the mother is the diary. I haven't seen anything that would point to the dad, that, to my knowledge. Oh, the broom would be another option for the maid. Alright, I'm going to try the mirror. You take the sharpest piece of broken glass and hide it on your person for later. Again, a bell invites me. This time to dinner, it seems. Dinner is served. I'm going to wait here a second or two to let them unfreeze. Okay, I didn't want to do dinner until you guys were here. Alright, well, let's hurry. Sophia, could you come here a moment? Yes, ma'am? Pour me some more wine. Yes, ma'am. But, madam... Oh, what is it, George? I must protest. It has always been my duty to pour the wine at dinner. Oh, well, I don't want to cause any trouble. Nonsense, what does it matter, George? Stop being overly pedantic. But I... Come on, let George pour the wine. If your mother wants the girl to pour the damn wine, then the girl will pour the damn wine. Of course, sir. My apologies. An interfering little rat, isn't he, Daddy? Yes, he is. Why can't you ever keep your mouth shut, boy? Perhaps I did speak out of turn. We gotta play it cool. Just wanted to say that I was the loveliest meal I've ever tasted. I don't know how you do it, you cunning pixie. You're too kind, miss. Of course, I will have tea and cakes for you in the drawing room, as usual, after dinner. Wink! Oh, you're so good to me, you sweet thing. So very, very good to me. Sophia isn't interested in your advances, sister. Shut up, rat. You ruin everything. Aaron, don't accuse your sister of such things. That's quite enough. Anyway, let's not forget why we are here today. To celebrate your father's birthday. Such a very important occasion for us all. You're so dear to us, Malcolm. Happy birthday, Daddy. Indeed, happy birthday, Father. Let's hope it will be one to remember. Doing the deed. Now it is time to quickly plant any items of evidence you have. To do so, simply enter the desired room and select the item in your inventory. When you're ready, enter the drawing room to do the deed. You find yourself unable to continue reading this poem. You're pretty sure that forbidden isn't a word and that the rest doesn't really rhyme. Do you want to plant this item of evidence in this room? Where should we plant it? It's the drawing room where we have to go. Should we plant it here? Or does it matter where you plant it? I'll plant it in the sister's room. Come hither, thou sweet and flame-haired maiden, let us play the games which have been forbidden. In dusty old rooms of this home in which I live in, come hither to me and do my sweet bidding. You decide that your sister's wardrobe is the ideal location to plant some evidence. The police will definitely search this room thoroughly. Alright, which is the drawing room anyway? Are you sure you want to enter the drawing room? Yes. You see Jennifer staring out of the window ahead of you, lost in one of her strange moods. She hasn't noticed you enter the drawing room. Now is the time. Choose the murder weapon. Broken glass. Your sister cries out in surprise as you grab her from behind, and you quickly muffle those cries with one hand before pressing the shard of broken glass against her throat. She struggles valiantly as you cut her throat open, but you manage to hold her in place until finally she goes limp. You drop her lifeless body to the ground along with the broken glass. It's time to leave this room before your deed is discovered. Sounds like my deed has been discovered. Good evening, everyone. I am Chief Inspector Winston Lewis. I understand that this is a difficult time for your family. You're damn right it is. I want to know what you're doing wasting any time in here while my daughter's killer is still out there. Well, Mr. Bruce, we have found no evidence of forced entry, and nobody was seen entering or leaving the house. It would seem entirely possible, then, that the killer is in this room. What? No. That seems highly unlikely, Inspector. Perhaps it is. However, in order to follow protocol, I will have to interview each of you in turn. Miss Bruce, would you like to meet me in the library first? I suppose so. The interview. Thank you for joining me in here, Mr. Bruce. I'm sure this won't take long. Before we begin, I will need to search your person. Best to get these formalities out of the way. Is this really necessary? I'm afraid so. Turn around, please. Now that that's out of the way, let's move on to the interview. As you know, I've already spoken to everyone else who was present in the house at the time of your sister's death. We've also now completed our initial search of the house, but we'll get to that later. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? First of all, we will run through all of your activities since your arrival. Maid says that you and the butler arrived shortly after 7 o'clock, and she greeted you at the door. The maid says that you made a rather inappropriate remark of a sexual nature towards her. This leads me to question your character, I'm afraid. It's only intended as a... Of course I did. Have you seen that, Mark? Absolutely. Wouldn't you have done... No, I can't say I would have. Which is curious. Why did you decide to visit the kitchen? To see what dinner would be ready. That makes sense. She claims that you attended it. Well, that's a ridiculous accusation. I see. I note that you did not stop to chat with either of your parents when you arrived, which strikes me as a... I thought I did talk to her. Let's discuss your conversation with the butler. I understand you spoke about the maid, Sophia. The butler seems to have some concerns about her. He said she's a bully. He told me that the new maid is very domineering and was looking to force him out of his job. I believe cold and heartless were the words he used. I see. Interesting. Did you speak to your sister before dinner? Yeah. I see. And what did you discuss with her? We discussed her illness and her obsessions. I was aware that she was going through a particularly difficult period. Did she seem distressed to you? Yes, you could say that. She was not in a good place, mentally speaking. I see. Let's move on to the events that took place during dinner. I understand that there was an argument involving the butler. You felt he was being treated unfairly. Family always treats the servants poorly. Someone has to stand up for the servants around here. My family treats them like dirt. Indeed, it was good of you to do so, Mr. Bruce. Apparently, you accused your sister of making unwanted advances towards the maid. Someone needed to talk to her about it. I felt I needed to call attention to it. She was just embarrassing herself. So your sister had strong feelings for the maid? Yes, very strong feelings, but I'm not sure the maid knew anything about it. I see. Now, I need to ascertain your location at the time of your sister's death. Where were you when you heard the maid scream? Upstairs. Your old bedroom. I was in the guest bedroom. I see, thank you. As I said earlier, we have completed our initial search of the property. We found a poem written by your sister, which appears to clearly express romantic feelings towards the maid. However, from where we found the love poem, there is no reason for us to believe the maid was aware of... Oh, we should have put it in the maid's room. It is entirely possible that these feelings of unrequited love contribute to your sister's demise, though. I'm curious about the murder weapon. The broken glass seems to come from one of your sister's mirrors. We found the rest of it in the maid's room. We have established that you have been to the servants' quarters this evening. However, we can't rule out suicide, especially given your sister's mental condition and her obsession with mirrors. It is all very interesting. I will be completely honest with you now, Mr. Bruce. Your behavior this evening has given me cause for suspicion. I also think the evidence surrounding the maid might be worth another look. All that said, a lot of the evidence does seem to point towards suicide. Now, as for what happens next, I'm going to ask you to accompany me to the station for further questioning. Am I under arrest? Not currently, Mr. Bruce, unless you want it that way. I think another interview with the maid will be required also. Any inquest will probably consider suicide as a very real possibility. Though you were brought in for further questioning, the police determined that there was not enough evidence to arrest you. The inquest which followed finally returned a controversial verdict of suicide. With no other heirs remaining, your father reversed his plans to cut you out of his will. When your parents died, you inherited everything. Dunshire House was yours, along with the fortune that came with it. However, George and Sophia found themselves unable to continue serving in the place after what happened. As you spent many long, sleepless nights wandering through the rooms of the house, you found that its emptiness was reflected within yourself. You had become hollow inside, free of everything but the nightmares that continued to haunt you. The end. So from what I understand reading the Steam store description is that the ending changes quite a bit depending on which items that you choose and where you plant them and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and it was like super cheap though too. I got it for like under $1. Yeah, it's a really quick game. It's meant to be replayable though. So anyway, what have we learned tonight? We've learned that that Mel needs to have fun and live for fun. We learned that Fames has a lame name, and we learn that Trinstar likes to shut down jerks, as well as Steffi. Steffi did that too. And Shiara has a fake name. And then you need to be very careful when framing someone for the murder of your sister. Those are the things we learned tonight, because all of those are appropriate for Valentine's Day. Oh, that's cool, Steffi. You have to tell us about it. Anyway, have a good night, everyone, and I will see you all next week.